Woodward, we are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
One. What up, though, people? It's Wake Up Woodward and Chat family. We appreciate you all for choosing to kick off your day with the WUW Crew. It's your boy Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network, a Red Wings correspondent, vet of the squad, vet of the network, and all sports knower. That's Flannel Sam. What up, though, brother? And I'm feeling the red, white, and blue flannel this morning because I know we're going to talk a whole lot of Detroit Pistons today, but tell the people what else is on the menu.
Well, we got a lot of Pistons. They lost their first playoff game, so that they're officially eliminated, right? We'll get to that in a second.
If you listen to a contingent of the fan base, they're eliminated.
The Pistons,
and Cade is the worst player of all time.
The Pistons series is over, and the Tigers had a terrible weekend. That's what happened, right?
We're not used to that much. That's really it. There's been so much winning going on that. Remember what I told you as Lions fans, we're going to have to learn how to become a fan of a team with expectations. And now we're dealing with this with Tigers and Pistons fans as well. And I hope it doesn't spoil it for some people to be able to go and enjoy what you're seeing right now. This is just a start. This is not 3 years into this aspect of who the Detroit Pistons are. This is their start. And guess what their start is? A great opportunity to go and knock off the higher seeded New York Knicks. They stumbled. But you know what, man? This is where I'm hoping that all Pistons fans everywhere can unite and be a part of why this team has an opportunity to go and do something special, especially in games 3 and 4. Detroit has played a big role, like our fans. And you hear that. We like the clip of Dwayne Wade talking about like how impactful Detroit sports fans were. We've heard even the late great Kobe Bryant talk about how impactful Detroit Pistons fans were. You've even heard Michael Jordan talk about how impactful Detroit Pistons fans were. So listen, this is a team, and we've been saying it all year. Get behind these guys, support these guys, because I do believe, Flannel Sam, they have a good shot to win game 2, word to Rasheed Wallace.
Well, yes, everything you said is correct, but I think I've been swayed on one thing. One thing that I've died on the hill for a long time, but I have changed my mind officially. Cade is just not that guy. He's not the one that's going to be able to get it done.
No, we're not starting that shit
Cut
today.
the stream, JB.
We're not starting that.
No, what is it? Cut his mic. No. Flannel, what is going on, bro? Please say psych.
Because
specific.
I don't know if you know this or not, but Cade Cunningham is the only player in NBA history to have some struggles in his first playoff series, let alone playoff game. It has never happened before in the history of mankind.
I see what you're doing there.
Not once. It has never happened before. It certainly hasn't happened to some of the greatest to ever play the game, right?
Oh, Tapsaw says it's over for the Pistons this year.
No.
JB, throw that first one on up, just to give a little bit of perspective, if you would, good sir. Notable performances in a player's first ever playoff series. Michael Jordan, 7 of 19 from the floor in his first ever playoff game. LeBron James, 7 of 25 from the floor, 10 turnovers in game 2 of his first ever playoff series. Magic Johnson, 4 of 12 from the floor in his first ever playoff game. Shaquille O'Neal, Big Shaqs, all hulking 7 foot. This was in shape Shaq. 3 of 8 in game 2 of his first ever playoff series. Tim Duncan, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 turnovers in game 4 of his first ever playoff series. And oh, by the way, I'm not done. Go ahead and put up part 2 of that graphic. Willis Reed, 6 of 16 from the floor in game 4 of his first ever playoff series. Larry Bird, in his first 3 playoff games ever, averaged 16 points on 16 shots per game. Not very efficient, I would say. Hakeem Olajuwon in games 1, 2, and 5 of his his first ever playoff series, averaged 16 points on 16 shots per game as 7-foot Hakeem Olajuwon, by the way. Kobe Bryant averaged 8 points per game as a role player. Kevin Durant, in his first ever playoff series, shot 35% from the floor and 29% from behind the arc. And Kawhi Leonard, in his first ever playoff series, averaged 7 points per game as a role player. Why do I bring all of these guys up specifically? They are the only players, besides for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's the exception, to win multiple finals MVPs. And every single one of them, besides for Kareem, had some warts in their first ever playoff series. If you're one of those people who are basically writing off Cade because of one substandard playoff game, seek professional help.
But it's who they've always been. It's who they've always been. If they can't understand the type of player that Cade Cunningham, and honestly, I believe that the New York Knicks just had a great game plan for how to slow down Cade Cunningham. And it's always these comments that get me, though. Mark Royal, these idiots think the Pistons can give away playoff games and still win this series. No, they don't need to give away playoff games. I do believe that the New York Knicks employed a game plan, a strategy that the Detroit Pistons they weren't able to effectively stand with those punches. We saw in the first half the different strategies employed. They were able to hang with it. But when they went to the blitzing of Cade Cunningham and in the hedge with the man in the middle, they just didn't know quite how to deal with it. Now, this is where JB Bickerstaff is going to have to go and put this team, not in a 7-game series, not a one-off where you can go and strategize for one game, somebody coming off of a back-to-back or not, or you're catching a team while they're hot or not. This is now a situation where your coach goes in, your players go in, and everybody seeks to get better. This is a series where everybody across the board, nobody expected this series to be a sweep anyway. Either way, everybody expected, some people expected Knicks, some people expected Pistons on the national spectrum. So when we sit here, we're breaking down the series, I just believe that the Knicks employed a good game plan. They won game one on their home floor, which is something we see a lot of in NBA playoffs that does not, in my opinion, lessen my confidence that the Detroit Pistons can win the series. And it's because I do believe they have the best player in this series. I do believe that they are the more physical and more tough team. They got punched in the mouth, and this is where they're going to have to do something in game two that we've seen them do all season. We've seen them step up and face adversity. We've seen them go and stop the bleeding all year long. And I do believe they're going to do that against the New York Knicks.
And that's the thing. It's one game. Yeah, it was a horrific fourth quarter. It was a horrific run that they gave up. That's fair. Cade's got to be better. Duran's got to be better. JB Bickerstaff has to be better. There's a lot of people that need to step up. It's just that, I got to read this comment, even though I shouldn't take this guy seriously. He's just deliberately missing my point. Matthew Kruger, to the shock of no one. Reaching big time, Flannel. Cade's not in this company, though. Nice try. No shit, Sherlock. What I'm saying is that, so basically what you're saying is Cade's not allowed to struggle in his first playoff series.
But those guys are.
Those guys can.
And still become great.
Absolutely.
And improve from that point.
Every single player that I mentioned in that list, as I said, is a multiple-time finals MVP. The guys that I mentioned, there's 8 or 9 of the top 10 players to ever exist are in that company. And everybody struggles in their first playoff series, except for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Literally, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the only one. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the only player, maybe in NBA history, and certainly the last one, who was the best player in the world as a rookie. Imagine if LeBron James played 4 years of high school and 4 years of college after high school and then went straight into the NBA. That's what Kareem was in 1970. So that's why Kareem was able to, he's the exception to this. But everybody else, everybody struggles in their first playoff series.
And this is where this is why I started the show the way that I did. Because even in our chat, just like we're seeing in social media, Pistons fans all over the place are split. And this is my thing. I don't care if you're split about if they're going to win or not. Chris Platty, who we know loves the Pistons and bleeds red, white, and blue. I swear, if we go to his house, his pillow is probably the Till horse. This guy still picked the Pistons to lose, but he wants them to win so badly. You can support your team. That's my issue, is that where is the hate coming from? Why as Pistons fans, why as people from Detroit, why as people from the metro area, why as people from the state of Michigan, why are we not banding together and supporting the most hopeful playoff team, the most hopeful squad we've had in over this is the crazy thing, in over 20 years. Because even if you go back to some of the later aspects of going to work and the later aspects of after they started breaking them down, there was no more freaking hope. The hope was Charlie Villanueva and Rodney Stuckey. There was no hope. This one has hope. Why are we doing this right now? With Lions fans, we bandied together in a season that they went 9-8 and missed the playoffs in. The Pistons are there. And this is what boggles my mind with the Cade hate. A guy who has transcended a lot. My man came back from, hey, my leg has fractures all in it. You guys are going to break it, put a pole in it, reset it. I'm going to come back and make all-star. And then my fans are going to be split on that dedication? After one playoff game? And actually, it's not just one playoff game. This has been something that has plagued his entire time here, and it is the weirdest energy ever. All Pistons fans right now should be united behind this Detroit Pistons team all across the board. This team knows what they got to do. And the one thing I love is that they've been very cool, calm, collected, and poised throughout this process. If you saw the post games of both JB Bickerstaff and Cade Cunningham, you saw those guys aren't bothered. Cade was like, man, this is just basketball. We've seen them go through, have a game like this, and then bounce back and have a really, really good game. Or bounce back the next game where his team picks him up. This squad knows how to play basketball.
And they'll be fine. I mean, like I said, I'm not excusing the loss. It wasn't a great loss. I think all of us, when they had an 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter, thought that they would take it home. They didn't. They showed some of their youth and inexperience. But at the same time, they're going on the road. The Knicks, I don't think people realize this. The Knicks are desperate. They needed that game more than anything. Tom Thibodeau was feeling the pressure.
They looked desperate in the fourth quarter, though.
And credit to them, they won. If Tom Thibodeau doesn't lead the Knicks to a series win, he maybe gets fired. Karl Anthony Towns, and shout out to him, he played a hell of a game. But if the Knicks don't win and Karl Anthony Towns doesn't play great, then Karl Anthony Towns is going to have to answer a lot of questions. Jalen Brunson, again, credit where credit is due. He played really well, particularly in the second half. Mm-hmm. He's feeling this is a team that right now, the Knicks are in an unenviable position, I'll just be honest. They've got all the pressure in the world. They probably can't win the title. They've got a young, hungry team breathing down their back. And you know what? They reached back. Cam Payne in particular reached back and gave a performance we never expected. Mitchell Robinson was huge. Karl Anthony Towns, how many times was he defended well but continued to make tough shot after tough shot?
Contorted layups.
And credit to him. And he also, believe it or not, Karl Anthony Towns, I think, even though some people clowned his demeanor, the man had 6 stocks as well.
Yep.
And double-digit rebounds. He did not play a soft game. The Pistons have to go back to the drawing board. They have to be better tonight. Many players have to be better, including Cade Cunningham. But they've got that playoff experience out of the way. This is a tale as old as time. And I think that's what bothers me the most is people just do not realize that this is a tale as old as time. Young teams having playoff missteps, young players having subpar playoff games. It happens every single year. It's getting to the point where people are so fickle that I just want to start gatekeeping certain players. I bet you guys like Mark Royal and Matthew Kruger aren't going to be here tomorrow if the Pistons take Game 2. It's a plague right now, man.
And I see Cody Ingle, he says, Kool-Aid, you got to stop being a homer, my dude. Stars aren't immune from accountability of a bad game. And this is exactly what I'm saying. And it's like they missed the point. Nobody said that Cade is immune from accountability, and we talked about it. If you saw the post-game show, there's a lot that Cade needs to clean up.
100%.
We need Cade to score 30-plus. That's been the recipe against the Knicks and getting wins against them all season. We saw that in the season, regular season with the stats. The turnovers have to go away. He has to play with urgency. He has to value each and every possession like it matters because your playoff lives matter. Your season matters right now. Cade knows this, though. And we can sit here and talk about this all day long, that Cade needs to be the one to play perfect. But I'm going to tell you guys something. Even if Cade plays perfect and the rest of this team and JB Bickerstaff doesn't meet the level of what it means to play in the playoffs, it's not going to matter. So I like the fact that at least if you're telling me that the aspect of Cade we have to criticize is 21 points, 12 assists, at least responsible for 40, 45-plus points in the entire game and 6 rebounds and 6 turnovers. Like, think about this. So if he makes a couple more of those shots than he missed and brings down the turnovers by 2, the Pistons win the game? No. You know why? Because this is what actually happened in the game. At the 8:47 mark in the fourth quarter, Cade Cunningham, you could tell he's gassed. He's gassed. You could tell it. He's facing the blitz all game. But were the Pistons winning the game or losing the game? They were up 98-93. 8:47 mark. We all sat here and we know that JB Bickerstaff does this. And generally, the Pistons teammates pick him up. He's able to get that rest, and he enters sometime between the 4 and the 6 minute mark. In this game, though, when you go just 1 full minute later, Cade Cunningham enters the game for Dennis Schroeder, and the game is now tied 98-98. And we saw that the New York Knicks at that point in time had all of the momentum, all of the chemistry. And this is where you do want JB Bickerstaff to be able to better manage that. In the regular season, maybe you allow your guys to play through certain things. Maybe you allow your vets to figure out certain things. But right now, the one thing I want, and I'm hoping for JB Bickerstaff, Cade Cunningham, and the rest of this team to do, is to value each and every possession. You saw Knicks players trying to call time out after several times when they're diving on the floor. The refs didn't always give it to them, but they gave it to them during one critical aspect of the game. Then they put that in contract with the Pistons, the 5-second out-of-bound call. Then you followed it up with a 24-second shot clock violation. These things can happen. And then in the stretch of the game when you're trying to stop it, I do, trust me. With everybody out there, if we want to talk about just the strategy of it all, we can sit here and say, Cade Cunningham cannot have some of the turnovers that he had during that stretch of the game. It's what's plagued them so much in other losses. And right now it's going to be amplified and magnified, not just because you're at Madison Square, but because it's the playoffs and he's that guy. But I do believe that Cade is the guy who's going to rise to the occasion. I just want more out of what JB Bickerstaff is going to be as a coach and out of this team, because the defense as a team failed them as well during that 21-0 run by the Knicks.
Well, when you give up a 21-0 run, it's a whole team failure. Everybody's gotta lay some blame for that, whether it's JB Bickerstaff, whether it's Cade Cunningham, whether it's everybody on the floor, because that's a 21-0 run. I believe what did they lose the fourth quarter? They were outscored by 20-plus points. That's, in a vacuum, that's a meltdown. That's obviously...
That's a team meltdown.
Absolutely. That's beyond unacceptable. And if the Pistons lose this series, we're going to look back at that. But my whole thing is that let the series play out a little bit. You can hold certain players accountable. You can say they've got to be better. But what I'm not going to allow anybody to do is to make these broad judgments about them. That's why I was so sarcastic in the beginning, and that's why I had to point out that so many players, the all-time greats, even Michael Jordan and LeBron, had struggles in their first ever playoff series. It happens. It's just that when you're right in the middle of it, and I think social media amplifies that times 10, you don't know how to look outside of particular very, very small granular situations. And that's something that, as long as I'm here, I'm going to keep providing as much perspective as I can, because if you think this is the end of the world, seek help. Please seek help.
Yeah, and just Eric Mannion Sr., one more thing before we move on to the next segment. We've got a little bit more Pistons talk because we have to talk about, is there a game going on or something like that tonight, fellas? I think there might be.
Well, it's over. They lost the series.
I'm gonna be through with you guys. There's been several times during this bit that I'm actually taking it serious, and my heart drops for a second. And I'm just like, okay, he's still sarcastic.
Oh,
dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, Eric Mannion Sr. says Cade wasn't the reason they lost. Turnovers, he's always going to share in responsibility. But turnovers in the fourth was why. I don't know why the sky was falling after one playoff game. The Pistons can still win game 2 tonight and the series. And this is the thing. I put out the keys to a victory, not just in a playoff game, but for this entire series. And the most important one seems to be number 3, and that's no self-inflicted wounds. We talked about who the Pistons are when they take care of the ball. We talked about who the Pistons are when they run through their actual half-court sets. They've done this adequately with Cade on the court and with Cade off the court this season. Against the Knicks, they in that fourth quarter and again in that entire game, they didn't do that as adequately, to the tune of 21 turnovers, Flannel Sam. And guess how many points they gave up off those 21 turnovers? 25 points.
That's the difference in the game.
And they missed 5 free throws. That is a combined 30 points that you have your fingers on yourself. That's 30 points, man.
Yeah, can't happen.
That can't happen. If they do that again, it doesn't really matter how well Cade plays. You gave another team 25 points off of your turnovers, and you gave them 21 opportunities, and you took away 21 opportunities for yourself to do something, anything. What if they just got fouled in a quarter of those 21?
That's the thing. And time
That's
will
crazy,
tell
dog.
if they can live from it. And trust me, I think all of us will be singing a little bit of a different tune if this continues, if it's a trend, if the Pistons really don't show out in this series, then we have something to really talk about. But for now, I'm not going to sweat too much, and I'm just going to continue to go off of what I know about NBA history. Game 1 losses are not the worst thing in the world. It sounds like Willie B, what do you got to say on this, brother?
I mean, Jalen Duren need to step up. 7 points and 6 rebounds. He did a decent job trying to contain Karl Anthony Towns, but that's not enough. And you got other guys like Dennis Schroeder. He didn't do much. The only guy that did, 3 guys that did all right offensively is Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris has 20 points and 6 rebounds, and you got Malik Beasley with 20. But that stuff he got to give. The turnovers got to go. You can't make these turnovers. 20-1 run in the fourth quarter while we had an 8-point lead. It's diabolical. I mean, I don't get it. How y'all just gonna slip up in that fourth quarter like that? Something had to give, and the interior court, they got to understand. Jalen Duren had to do more. Jalen Duren had to do more because Cade need help. Tobias need help. Dennis Schroeder needs to step up off the bench. So that case, to take the team over because you left Cam Payne off the bench with 14 points.
Yeah, that hurt me.
Most of that in the fourth quarter.
That hurt me physically, but I also am not going to be on some hater shit after he did what he did. But Jalen Duren, no more singles. You need double-doubles for
we'll
him.
talk about in the next segment, definitely. There's a theory there, man. But let's hear from Mad Packs.
Actually, go ahead and do a Caesars.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Do Caesars. Where are you at?
Big Time 51, you're right. I do believe they're better. He said Kool-Aid getting upset because he knows his team is so much better than what they show. Definitely. All of them. All of them, bro. We're going to talk about it with the game, too. All of them. But, Mad Packs. You said Caesars?
No, Caesars.
Let's rock. Let's rock with Caesars.
Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Do yourself a favor, scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet, and if it doesn't hit, they will throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Do yourself a favor, make some money tonight.
Big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won.
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. from Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Flannel Sam here to talk to you about Mad Packs. Mad Packs is the hottest new cannabis brand, and they are partnering with Woodward Sports. You know what that means? I am going to be feeling good for opening day. Mad Packs is going to take your game to the next level. High-low is getting you high for the low, delivering top-tier quality at unbeatable prices. Boom shakalaka! Boom shakalaka!
I needed this read right
Is a
now.
live resin-infused tarantula. This one's the bomb. Blizzard packs, THCA, moon rocks that hit like a blizzard. Coming to select retailers in May 2025. Stay tuned with Woodward Sports Network for all the latest updates.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward and Flannel Sam. I think the people, all of us, are going to have to understand and learn how to be a fan of a Pistons team now that has playoff expectations. Yeah. This is a squad that has transcended and gotten here to a much quicker point. A lot of the people who are supporting, a lot of people who are detracting, and none of us, I didn't see too many, expected us to be at this point anyway to start the season. But now that you're here, I'm glad that, like JB Bickerstaff, he's like, no, we're going to definitely look at what this means to be here in the playoffs and everything that we accomplished this season. But whenever you have a job to accomplish, you want to be successful, and we want to win in this series. And when you heard him after the game, he was very calm and with his demeanor and just saying, hey, listen, now we got a taste of what it actually means to kind of be in this thing, and I do believe our guys are going to respond better. Cade Cunningham, man, it's just basketball. And we've seen him have a lot of good basketball games in Madison Square Garden. But Willie B, you brought up something pretty interesting when you said you want to see a little bit more out of Jalen Duren. And when you look at something here, there was something that I said to JB Bickerstaff as related to Isaiah Stewart. And it was a piggyback in particular on someone who had just asked him prior, like, what are you going to do with this rotation? Because you got some energy guys here off this bench that make a difference. Are you looking at kind of turning those minutes up? And I went and nailed it in even more on Isaiah Stewart. And I said, look, I get it. A career low 19 minutes a game. But this guy is average. He's gotten his career highs across the board in efficiency, shooting the ball, in stocks, assists, and games played. Are you going to turn his minutes up now? So when you want more out of Duren, I think it has to start by J.B. Bickerstaff giving him more too. J.B. Bickerstaff, when you look at how the box score lines up in the minutes, Jalen Duren got 25 minutes. Asar Thompson got 23 minutes. And Isaiah Stewart, like clockwork, only got 19 minutes. I do believe that part of the recipe is making sure that those guys can see an increase in minutes and having a better effect on this team, a better chance to get in the rhythm. Now, what was the one common thread between all of them?
Foul trouble.
Foul trouble. And this was one of the things that I talked about before the series with Duren, Stu, and Asar. Why I was hesitant to say, all right, Asar is going to be that X factor, even though we know he can play a big role for us, is because of foul trouble. The type of roles that he's going to play and the types of players that the front court players are going to guard puts them in a position to get a little too handsy if they're not moving their feet well enough. And this is where they have to be better in game 2, staying out of foul trouble and keeping yourself in a position to make sure you don't piss off Willie B. All right? Because you're right. We all talked about Jalen Duren before the season. Even Rod Beard almost gave in and said maybe he is our second most impactful player. What we know is this: no matter if he's second, third, or fourth, we still need Jalen Duren to be that guy that we all believed, hey, maybe we see him be 17 points, 13 boards, and 3 or 4 stocks per game. We need that Jalen Duren because that's what helped get this Detroit Pistons to where we are right now. And that's another thing, the connections, like the lob connections, the pick and roll connections. The Pistons are one of the best teams at that in half court. Don't allow the New York Knicks to dictate the pace and the tempo for you when all year this team has done that to other squads.
Yeah, I only really saw the 2-man game with Cade and Duren once, and it was nice. That one lob was nice, and I know we were all pumped, and of course we thought that it would be one of the things that carried them to a Game 1 victory. Unfortunately, it did not happen. With Isaiah Stewart, I'm actually fine with the way he played. I've got no problem with it. Yeah, he was picking up a lot of fouls, but that's Isaiah Stewart.
I want more minutes. I want more of it.
100%. And that's on him to not commit so many fouls. And I would agree with that. But at least with Isaiah Stewart, he gave you basically what he's given you this whole year. Duren and Ausar, though, they've got to be better. They've got to stay out of foul trouble. And you certainly don't want someone like Jalen Duren. I would say he got outplayed by Mitchell Robinson. Can't have that happen.
Yeah, a role player.
I mean, we all know Mitchell Robinson was an X factor that we didn't really see, at least late in the year, and maybe a lot of us didn't take into account enough. But he showed up. He was big in the paint. He gave him some big minutes, gave him some rebounds, 3 of 3 from the floor. Jalen Duren's, like I said, got to be better. Got to be double-doubles the rest of the way. And for the record, I feel this way about Duren too. I'm not going to crucify him for one playoff game in which he wasn't great. But we need double-doubles. We need a strong presence in the paint the rest of the series, or else the Pistons are going to lose. But he will be better. I have full confidence in that.
And you're talking about one of their strengths. We've gone through these stats before, over and over and over again, about who the Detroit Pistons team has been, and is what gives you a lot of encouragement for them in this series. But they have to get back to them dictating. They have to get back to them controlling and doing what they know to do. Don't get sped up by the Knicks. You know, I like this comment by Mike Hard 3-on-3. He says the Knicks were blitzing Cade, disrupting his rhythm was a number one priority in their game plan. And what did we hear all kind of? And I even heard this from some people close to situations in the media room and some of the scouts that are there, that they were planning to go man on man. I don't know what the Pistons necessarily were preparing for, but those blitzes absolutely threw them off, and they should have been prepared for it. But this is Tom Thibodeau. This is a series where we went in, and before that I said, I believe J.B. Bickerstaff is a better coach in this series. How he responds to those types of traps and how Cade Cunningham responds to those is going to play a lot into these narratives, because this is what we know. Ultimately, winning is going to be what cures all. How you show up in these types of situations is going to be what people remember most, no matter the totality of the season, no matter the All-Stars. Cade Cunningham does have to find a way to respond better to those blitzes, and this is where, from a strategy standpoint, his teammates have to show better. The strategy going in has to be, as soon as they do this, and the Pistons did this very well, back when they were going to work Pistons. I remember there being plays where whenever Chauncey was in his groove and it would send the double teams on the right corners, where he would like to shoot from that kind of, that little hash mark that comes out, they would send a double. Rip would just run right behind the double. It's one of the most basic concepts that you learn from Pee Wee basketball. Cut and run. The weak side guy, cut. The strong side guy, run right behind the double. And if your person is the one that is double teaming, either roll or show yourself available. If you look back at the game, the Pistons didn't do that very well. When K got blitzed, you saw kind of people standing either 3-point line or in their position. This is where you want to get that action and that motion going, because I believe it helps the Pistons be able to better control that pace. And you know who does that well? Ron Holland. And he didn't get a lot of minutes. When Ron's out there and those double teams come, that boy is almost in your pocket to the point that you're like, bro, like, go away. He's like, yo, I want the ball. He shows well, and as soon as they swing it to him after those double teams and he sees that gap, he's to the rim. That's what you want to see out of Ron. That's what Ausar does well too, but you didn't see it too many times.
Oh,
you want to see them do this. So they're going to have to show higher, because in this series, I've noticed both teams from a defensive standpoint are trying to make the team start their offense like further beyond the 3-point line. You'll notice both teams are trying to make the point guard pick up the ball or pass it like as soon as they get beyond half court. And those other players are going to have to show more effectively.
And that's what was something that I really noticed when watching the game, is Cade was getting blitzed a lot. And shout out to Tom Thibodeau and this Knicks defense. It worked.
They won the first chess match.
I was about to say, I think Tom Thibodeau heard us when we were saying, I think JB Bickerstaff might be the better coach. Not in game one, but JB, this is where you got to earn your faith and adjust. But when Cade was getting blitzed, when he was getting rid of the ball, way too many times you saw the offense just get stagnant and people just would almost be hot potatoing it like they didn't know what to do. And that to me was a little bit concerning. That's where you kind of see just the type of usage that Cade Cunningham has, the type of ball handling ability that he has that is just not really matched throughout this team. But you said it, Ron. Maybe this is a game where Ron Holland gets more minutes because he has more of that capability. We'll see. It's just, if Cade's, and I know Cade had 12 assists, so some of the time it worked, but if you're gonna if the Knicks are going to double team Cade, if they are just going to go at him, the Pistons have to make them pay more often than they did. But you also got to give credit to the Knicks. They were rotating. They were doing their job as well. That's a Tom Thibodeau defense. That's a lot of athletic players, athletic wings in particular. But if I'm the Knicks, I probably just start blitzing again until the Pistons prove that they can more effectively handle it.
Hey, look, the Knicks picked up 12 steals off of blitzing, Cade Cunningham and such off these Pistons. And then they got 9 blocks. But what was really disgusting, this one hurt because the Pistons had a historic stretch this season at outscoring their opponents in 30 straight games. Bro, they got outscored. They got punked 62-46 in the paint. And they gave up almost 53% shooting from the floor. That's insane. This Pistons defense has been one of the top 3 defenses in the league since December 1st is top 5. Since February 1st is top 3. They have to get back to that. I want to see a little bit more of the grittiness. I thought that they responded well. I thought that they showed good character in the game for the first 3 quarters. But when it got time to the gritty, it wasn't as if we saw the Knicks just coming down and running sets and busting our tail. It was a lot of transition. It was a lot of hustle. It was a lot of Josh Hart getting out on the run. McBride diving on the floor. The things that we see when we see the Detroit Pistons this year win games, it was just like that. And when they beat the Knicks this year, it was those things. It was Beasley diving on the floor. It was those guys cutting. It was those guys dunking. It was those guys running out in transition. And the best parts of the Pistons against the Knicks in the first game was that. But they allowed the Knicks to effectively assume some of their identity. And a lot of that has to do with OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, McBride. I feel like I'm missing somebody. I know I'm missing somebody. But those other campaign, those are the role players who stepped up in a big spot. And Mitchell Robinson, he proved to be somewhat of an X factor. And this is where I get where Willie B's like, I want to see more. Because when we look at all the numbers concerning the paint, the Pistons got dominated.
Yeah, and a lot of that just has to do with, the paint. And that's where the Knicks, and I don't know how much they really care, how much they really played into it, but maybe they did. They did not play soft, at least in the fourth quarter. That's where I think a lot of people were a surprise. And all of the stats in which you can quantify being soft or being tough, the Knicks really had the edge in a game 1. And I don't think that that's something that's going to sit well with the Pistons or with JB Bickerstaff. And that's why I have full faith in the Pistons being able to bounce back and hopefully get a game 2. But before we one thing that I want to do as well, just so that we get it out of the way, and I know I did it in passing, sometimes you also just have to give credit to certain players. Like Cam Payne, I know during the watch party I was MFing him, but I also am like, you had yourself a playoff moment. Karl-Anthony Towns. Yeah. Insane efficiency, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 6 stocks on 14 shots, unbelievable. Jalen Brunson, even though I know
10 free throw attempts though.
I was going to say
5.
He's not a aesthetically pleasing player to watch. I know that people got kind of fed up with his flopping and foul baiting, but this is kind of what Jalen Brunson does. Jalen Brunson in the playoffs throughout his Knicks career, he'll usually give you about 30 and about 7 or 8 assists on lesser efficiency than what we're used to from him, but he gets buckets. And in the playoffs, sometimes you can afford to be a little bit less efficient because the game slows down, possession slows down, there's more premium on defense. Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart giving you a 13, 7, and 6 on 10 shots, a plus 20. That's a very Josh Hart-like game. The Knicks, especially in the fourth quarter, they dominated. But the Pistons, I just hope that this doesn't sit very well with them, and I know that it's not.
And it does sting because ultimately we know this. The star Cade Cunningham has to be what he's been all season. Over 30 points and 10 assists per game and 6 rebounds per game against the Knicks in the series. And in Madison Square Garden in particular, those numbers get closer to 34 and almost like 10 or 11 per game. He has to be more of that. Yeah. And I do. Everybody knows this, and I know Cade knows this. He has to tighten up. You said it. I've said it. He has to honestly value each and every one of these precious possessions because what really stings, just agitates me. I don't even think it's the biggest factor, but this one agitates me more than any other one. Is when you look at Jalen Brunson's turnovers. And nothing that if you want to talk about foul baiting, if you want to talk about he got too many free throws, nothing. Listen, my man had 1 turnover. and he's a high usage guy.
An
And I
8
do
to
love
1 assist to
8 to
turnover ratio is
That's
it's
insane.
unheard of.
In
And
the playoffs against
in
a
the
team
playoffs.
that plays physical, against one of the top steals teams. We're one of the top. We are the, I believe, number 2 team at turning defense to offense off steals. The Knicks just all the way around. It's like they understood the value of playoff basketball in each possession. And I do believe that they're going to understand the value of absorbing some of these runs, because the Pistons, bro, it's almost like a boxing match. They were really going toe-to-toe with the Knicks the entire game. Until fourth quarter, Cade sat, the Pistons had a lead, and the Knicks just took the game over from that time.
And this is where, and this isn't a backhanded compliment. This is actually more of just the progression of NBA teams. One thing that we know that the Knicks know how to do with, I think, worse and less talented teams is the Jalen Brunson, Villanova boys, like iteration of the Knicks the last couple of years, whether it's with or without Julius Randle. They know how to win first round playoff series, and again, what do they want, a cookie for that? But at the end of the day, the Pistons need to get to that level. The Knicks know how to at least be competitive in the playoffs. Jalen Brunson has shown that he's not a playoff dropper. He just maybe is a little bit less efficient, but he's been really good for the most part. And that's what the Knicks that's what the Knicks know how to do. That's what the Pistons need to get to. And hope, like I said, game 2 is critical tonight. Need a W. I'm still feeling pretty confident, but.
I'm feeling confident, but it's different. This is one where, we'll look at this game, and from a basketball standpoint, I love looking at this from a strategy thing. I love looking at what my team needs to do better, where they can clean up, and what they did well, and highlighting that. Because as a coach, I've been a coach, I've been a player, I've been coached by many different styles, and I know other people have been in these situations, whether even it's been mentorship. I know about some of your mentors that are high up in this media game. And you understand the different effectiveness at making sure it's proper critique with also proper foundation to bounce forward. That's where JB Bickerstaff has been really, really good, and he talked about that. I asked him, I said, how do you balance the emotion of the success you just had with the fact that you guys want more? And that's where the notion, he talked about all the passes that came through and all of the BS and how that's helped bond them. And you know that you're on the right trail because of the success you've had. But these guys are still really hungry, and this is where I do hope that this loss, I hope it bugs them, because it wasn't their identity. No. JB Bickerstaff told us we would turn on the tape by February and see Detroit Pistons basketball, and we saw that a lot. But in this one game, I'm hoping that they sit there, whether you played a bad game or not, we can live with that. My problem is when I see Chuckle Cheese say Hart gets shut down tonight, Thompson got to hit those layups. This is a double-edged sword. You know why? Because the only way you shut down Josh Hart, there wasn't running plays for him. It's if you out-hustle him. That's the issue. That's the part that hurts the most. We got out-pistoned. The way that we beat the Knicks all season,
pretty much,
we got out-pistoned, and that's the thing. So Asar Thompson missing the dunk, even Tim Hardaway dunking the ball and then it just popping out. Just there were some weird things that happened. I still think he should have got a foul call, but whatever. There were some things that happened, and you want to see the Pistons put the game more in their control, so those things have less of an effect. Asar Thompson has to be more of what Josh Hart was. We want to see Dennis Schroeder have more an effect on a game than a campaign. These are some of those intricate things, and you want to make sure that to shut down your Mitchell Robinsons, who a couple times nobody did the textbook, bro. The guy who coached, I coached like high schoolers and college players for camps. I'm sitting here screaming like, put a body on Mitchell Robinson. How many rebounds did he get? And then that putback dunk where no one boxed out. Yeah. These are the things I'm hoping just chews away at this young Pistons team who realizes they let a game slip away.
And that's what you said. The steals, the blocks, the rebounds, the hustle stats, those all favored the Knicks. I thought what you said about Josh Hart, and in terms of, the Knicks might not run a single play for him, but he's just one of those special kind of guards that rebounds, that hustles, that just does all of the little things. Every single team in the NBA would kill for a guy like a Josh Hart. You just got to work harder. You just got to want it more. But the Pistons, they know what they're up against now. They know what they did wrong. They know that this isn't the same Knicks team that they were used to beating regularly this regular season. The playoffs are a different animal. They're getting a little bit more healthy with Mitchell Robinson. And I know the thing that shocked me the most, which probably shouldn't because it was a home game, and role players tend to do that in the playoffs and home games, is that the Knicks bench, you got great bench performances from Campaign and Mitchell Robinson. You could argue that Beasley and Stewart did as well, but you can't play the Knicks bench to a draw. You've got to win that bench matchup, and hopefully they do this game. I want to see more minutes from Ron Holland, like you were saying.
Yeah, I definitely do. He's been that kind of energizer several times. We've literally texted about it. We've posted about it like, man, Pistons could really use his energy right now. They put him in there. He's a difference maker. But when you look at this thing, you realize JB Bickerstaff really favored the minutes towards the vets. And those young players, they got decent minutes. But I want to see them have a little bit more. So a lot of that's going to be on them and how they learn how to defend in this playoffs and learn how to respond, honestly, to the playoff pressure. But what up, No Voice of Reason? You've heard all this conversation. You've heard and seen the chat. You got your eyes on it all. Like you're the architect from the Matrix. Talk to us. Talk to us because we got a big game tonight. 7:30, Detroit Pistons with game number 2 against the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. We've seen K dance there, man. But you hear the discourse. Even us up here, it's emotional, bro, because we know that there's a lot to believe in this team beyond this, but there's still a lot more on their plate right now.
Yeah, I definitely understand that as well, too. Pistons have a huge bounce back tonight. I think that's what they need to focus and channel in on, that Rasheed Wallace energy, especially for this game, too, because nothing's going to be easy, as you've seen before in game 1, obviously. Cade especially. I mean, I've seen the scratches on the man's arm. You're not giving this man any calls at all, but credit to New York Knicks as well, too. I mean, Cat, maybe he's not as soft as we all were thinking, but as I said on Friday, game 1 is going to be a game of nerves. Everyone's out there just a little bit nervous. And, you've seen that in the first quarter as well, too. Knicks got off to a hot start, but the Pistons bounced back. And you know what? Just down the line in that fourth quarter, I don't know what went wrong. This just seemed like an odd game for them to be playing out there as well, too. You can't have single digits, man. You can no longer have single digits. We need you to, as you said, stop playing on that soft shit and, you know what, step up to the challenge right here. And, box out Cat. Just do something, man. I need more efficiency from you as well. But, Cade, as far as it goes, continue doing what you're doing. Don't loosen up on any focus that you have. But this team, everyone around you just needs to step up. You cannot have another night where Brunson goes off and gives you 34. This just can't happen.
And I think that's actually I'll
Voice
start
of reason.
I'll start with you because I want us to give a couple of keys and give our predictions for tonight's game before we move on to the Tigers, who had themselves a pretty nice weekend themselves. But JB, who wins tonight? Give me a score.
Pistons win tonight. I'm probably flipping the score on the Knicks. Give me 123 to 102.
Oh, a 21-point victory.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would.
Belt to ass.
Oh, my God.
I like that one.
I mean, I hope you're right. If they really want to make a statement, if they really want to get a stranglehold back on that series, any win will give them like an advantage. But if they really want to make a statement, blowing out the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, that's bold, man. But hopefully we come back tomorrow and you're like, I told you, please make that happen.
What about Willie B?
I expect the Pistons to be a little bit more fierce since they got the jitters out the way. That's just first playoff game in a while. Now everything's out the window. Okay, let's get to fighting. Let's get to scrapping. Let's start biting them right in that ass. Pause. And it was for them, I think they could win by at least 10 it will be a gritty game on this game too. And I guarantee you, I think Jalen Durham will step out. I think Isaiah Stewart going to step out on foul, try to play smart, but be an agitator against Karl Anthony Towns. Somebody got to use, or Suri Thompson's got to need to find a way to guard Jalen Brunson. You 8 inches. He's 5'11". You 6'8". Respectfully, because Jalen Brunson know how to use his mid range. Use your length, use your size, move your feet, use your quickness to get it off here. Jalen Brunson is great in the mid range. You take that away from him, you get a win. And for Tim Hardaway Jr., they do what vets do. They produce, and Malik Beasley, they produce what they do. So in that case, they need to go out there and go hard at them.
I feel that, and for me, man,
Thanks for the pitch.
I got 118-111 victory. One in which the Detroit Pistons take this one, and it's known. Sometimes in a blowout, you can come up with reasons why they lost. Hey, maybe this player had a bad game. This team just didn't meet this pressure right. I believe this is one where the Pistons kind of, when you see the players tussling for the ball after the whistle and no one wants to give it up, I think this is one where the Pistons kind of take it and they flex a little bit more than we saw them do in that first game. I saw them play somewhat tough, but I didn't see the fight that played to the line. Like, remember when JB Bickerstaff said, our team is going to be the one that pushes the other team to the brink of going overboard. We know how to play this way. I just didn't see them push that way. So did I see them, battle a little bit? Yeah, but I want to see a return of like what Willie B is saying, that grit, that fight, that being on the edge. They got 3 technicals in that game, and they were effectively just 3 seconds in the key. Like, if you're gonna get a technical, I'm trying to see the edginess. Where's the one who's barking? Where's the the Detroit? Where is that stuff where K's going out and we're clapping up? You don't want to see K get ejected, but that's what I'm saying. That type of fight where you have the other team having to think twice. But I didn't see that in the first game. I didn't see that on either side of the court. The Knicks look comfortable. So get back to making the other team feel uncomfortable and let this be a game in which down the stretch you guys are in control. Why? We've seen this happen 3 games. Each and every time they beat the Knicks, it's been that way. The Pistons took a stranglehold of the game with the way that we just saw the Knicks win, and I do believe they're going to do that in game 2. And they're going to win it 118-111, really securing this thing in the last about 4 minutes of the game, 3 minutes of the game. We're going to know, all right, Pistons got this in the bag.
Yeah, there are a couple of things that I think the Pistons have to do better tonight. One, of course, is rebound. Rebound for sure. I don't want Mitchell Robinson coming in and looking like a star 6-man big man. I don't want to see, and I know Jalen Duren's minutes were hindered by his foul trouble. First off, don't get in foul trouble. Second off, I need Jalen Duren to out-rebound Karl-Anthony Towns. I can't have Karl-Anthony Towns having 20-point double-doubles and Jalen Duren giving you singles. I need more from everybody who maybe didn't play up to their game. I need more from Duren. I need more from Asar Thompson. I want more from him in terms of guarding Jalen Brunson. You know what? I'm calling for it tonight. Because Brunson's playoff career is a little bit less efficient than his regular season career, tonight I'm calling for Asar Thompson to really put Jalen Brunson in jail some of the time, because you can only do that so much. Jalen Brunson gets as much or as many shots as points. He has more points or the same amount of points, more shots than points. I'll say that. He has more shots than points, and he turns the ball over multiple times. And with Cade Cunningham, need more efficiency, need more from him and his team in terms of handling the double teams, and I think that they'll get it. I think that the Knicks' game plan worked to perfection. When you got a team like the Pistons who were 44 wins, when you got a player like Cade Cunningham who's going to be second-team All-NBA, you got to adjust. When you have a coach in JB Bickerstaff who it should win Coach of the Year, whether he gets it or not.
He's a finalist.
Yeah. You've got it's all about adjustments. Make those adjustments. The young guys got to play better. Cade's got to play better, and they just have to be tougher in the post, and you can't Jalen Brunson needs to feel it a little bit more.
I agree with that. With the Asar thing, I believe the one strategy that you look at here is how much do you play him on Jalen Brunson, understanding the foul trouble he could get in, versus the effectiveness you could have. Maybe if you play him in a position to be more of a help side defender. Like I do miss help side defender Asar a little bit, but because if Brunson's still going to get his, despite Asar running around the court, we lost a lot of effectiveness from Asar. He looked a little bit tired. We didn't see the springiness and the energy. And so I know they have won games in the past with Asar chasing him around the court, but I do wonder in a 7-game series, if it just strategy-wise, I think in game 2 you run back with what you believe got you here. But then when you have to really start making those inner tweaks, that's where I do wonder, do you lessen Asar's defensive usage to try and increase his team defense and his overall offensive usage?
That's an interesting one. And another thing that I didn't bring up quite yet is I said it at the beginning, and we haven't really touched on it as much since. I don't necessarily think the defense on Karl-Anthony Towns was always bad. Shout out to Cat for also being a heck of a playmaker, too. I hope that doesn't continue. But Karl-Anthony Towns was making a lot of tough shots. I thought Isaiah Stewart did a fine job for the most part. But Cat he was big time. And the thing about Cat is everybody that could possibly guard him except for Duren, you could do everything right and Cat can still shoot over you. But I do not think that Karl Anthony Towns goes 10 for 14 tonight. I don't. I think his efficiency lessens a little bit. And that could be a big factor as well. Like, everything that the Pistons do for the most part in terms of strategy-wise can be pretty similar. But if Karl Anthony Towns misses some of those tough shots instead of makes them, it could be it could be all the difference. There's a lot of different ways that the Pistons can go about this. But I don't think I gave my prediction. Pistons 110, Knicks 106. We're going to be sweating this one, but the Pistons get the job done. Because if they don't, it's going to be really tough. Yeah.
Hey, and you know what? The Detroit Tigers, they had an opportunity to go and sweep the series. They had a great opportunity. Man, but they fall just short. Just short. Scooble, I thought he didn't put up necessarily his best stuff, but he did enough for the Tigers to get the win. And is that enough for this Tiger squad as they are marching on with, I believe, reset expectations? They fall to 13-9 on the season after a 4-3 loss in extra innings to the Kansas City Royals. And I know that there's some people, Flannel Sam, who have largely been in this hobby watch. I wonder what side of the room they're on today.
I wonder.
I wonder, but I got to tell you about Feldman. Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Detroit's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the Chevrolet Dealer of the Year for 6 consecutive years. They got deals of the month. You can get a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew for just $199 a month. You can also get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $249 a month. Come see George Hawes and his team at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi.
Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, Woodward Sports fans, head over to woodwardsports.com. All you got to do is click on that shop tab because we have new designs dropping for you every single week in our merch department. You got the LFG Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies on right now. I know the Wings might be disappointing you a little bit, but you know what? You can still support them. And you can't forget about those Woodward Tigers as well, too, which we are about to dive into. You should be wearing this gear at Comerica Park right now. Head over to woodwardsports.com. All you got to do is click on that shop tab.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and you know what? I'm about to just do something funny, bro. Hey, Willie B, you on the spot, dog. We got to satisfy that like button right now. You're going to have to tell the people, give them your Barry White, your Quiet Storm radio voice. This is your time right now. Shout out to our brother KG, Cavassier Chase, Matt Broder, that dude Justin, all of the WUW Crew family, man. And so make sure you do KG proud on this one, man. We got to satisfy that like button.
Come on down and just like this button. Because I know what you think you're dwelling.
Hit the like button.
You got to hit it right now. You got to finger up real good. Lube up.
Finger up
real good, man. You know, you got to
dip
dip it
thumb
low.
finger, right?
Get those 2 fingers down. Go like that button. Come on with it right here.
I tried to give him some singing background ad-libs, but
I forgot.
I couldn't even. I was over here cracking up, dog. Shout out to Willie B, man. Hey, I think KG would be proud of your efforts.
Oh, I appreciate it, man.
We're going to have to get Flannel Sandman on this one day, man. One day. Those Detroit Tigers, they win another series. They get back on the right side of these types of things, and this is what I do expect from the Tigers, to go out there in a lot of their series. I believe every single one of these AL Central games, I believe that these series are handle your business games. I believe that the Tigers are proving to be the best team in the AL Central, and now you take on bigger sides to the AL, and that's where you really hope Tarek Skubal can get back to Cy Scoob. But what was the thing we said from the beginning of the season? Can this team pick up guys like Tarek Skubal? Can this team pick up their all-star in Riley Green? And last night, they didn't necessarily do the best job at that.
Yeah, they didn't. But earlier when I said that I was on a sarcastic streak when I said that the Pistons are done and the Tigers had a terrible weekend. I was obviously not being serious, because I'm Mr. Perspective guy. I'm Mr. Big Picture guy. If you take 3 out of 4 in a series, that's a major win, especially from a division rival, especially with the way that I would say for the most part, actually, not even for the most part, the Tigers starting pitching staff handled the Kansas City Royals bats with ease. It wasn't even really a competition. Actually, JB, I wasn't expecting to start with this, but do you have the list of the lines for the starting pitchers on this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
And this is a pretty formidable lineup with guys like Bobby Witt and Salvador Perez and Jonathan India and Vinny Pasquantino. Tigers starting pitchers this weekend: Reese Olson, game 1, 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. Jackson Jobe on Friday, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 earned run. Casey Mize, probably the most impressive of the bunch this weekend. 7 innings for Casey Mize, I absolutely love, by the way. 7 innings, 4 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts, 1 earned run. And Tarek Skubal yesterday, even though the Tigers didn't get it done, I still think Skubal, even if this wasn't like prime Cy Young Skubal, did enough for them to win. 5 innings, 7 hits is a little more than you would like. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 2 earned runs. And the only one who didn't get a chance was Flaherty, but I believe he goes tonight. This is why I say that this Tigers starting pitching staff is World Series level. If they can stay healthy, if some of the guys like Casey Mize continues to look like a 1-1, if Jackson Jobe continues to look like the best pitching prospect heading into the season, if Reese Olson can stay healthy, if Jack Flaherty can continue to be Flaherty with Fetter, and Skubal has a Cy Young caliber season, the sky's the limit for this team, and they showed it this weekend. I know that with all of these numbers, you'd like a sweep, but asking for 4-game sweeps in the MLB is it's a lot. You take 3 out of 4 any day of the week.
And that's where, to put it in even greater perspective, we talk about, obviously, the Pistons in a playoff series with greater implications, but you put in perspective, you can criticize what happens in one game, and you want to see this team give Skubal an opportunity to have wins when he's not giving up very many runs. And they had that opportunity. But I'm glad the way that you put it in the overall perspective of this team won another series, and it was a 4-game series. They got 3 wins, 3 crucial wins against your division opponent that you get to put in your back pocket in a series win. So now the next time you guys meet up, they're on their back heels trying to figure out what do they need to do to get a victory here. Because ultimately, if you're taking 3 out of 4 from the Royals, many people believe that Skubal would have had to win his start. So in totality, this team did ultimately pick up Skubal and the Tigers. 100%. They took 3 or 4 from the Royals, and that's what you want to see more of to keep this in a position where they have more handle your business games than not. Because we know that they're going to be up against a team that has a pretty decent amount of wins to start the season coming up here in the San Diego Padres.
Oh yeah, I mean that's going to be a tough one. You'd certainly love to take 2 out of the 3. If you want to say that the lack of sweep is a little disappointing because the Padres, I believe, have the best record in baseball, are coming in. I understand that, but 3 out of 4, you take it any day of the week. I actually had another massive takeaway from this weekend, and I mean massive. A lot of you guys are right. Riley Green needs to go to the minors. In fact, he should be joining probably Max Clark in A-ball to know what a real baller or real aura looks like. Because Riley Green his slump is back. He had just an awful series and just hurt this team in so many different ways and just completely crapped all over himself. Right, JB? Right?
Slopping
Look at
real
these
hard.
awful numbers that Riley Green put up in the
Yeah,
series.
and then I have something from Neil for you about another player later.
Fair enough. Oh, my goodness. Riley Green versus a horrific 313 batting average. Just awful. A 389 on base percentage, just horrendous. You can't have that from your fake all-star, which is what he always
And I
was.
got Detroit area code batting average, man.
Absolutely. Of course he had no home runs. He's singlio. That's all he ever does. Actually, right now, that is what he's doing.
How's that beard?
He's still here. But 3 RBIs, you need at least 1 a game, or else you're a bum.
Garbage.
And he struck out once? No! And 2 walks, a 2-to-1 walk to strikeout ratio?
Just to be safe, maybe just for his mental, just to make sure it can stay there, shouldn't they still just send him down to AAA?
Send him down to single A. He's a bum. And actually, you send him down to the minors, and then you put it out there that you cannot bring this guy back. Not even
Just let
when
him
the
marinate down there a little bit.
Not even when the rosters expand to 40, because he's not even one of the 40 best players in the system. And oh, by the way, his average only increased by 20 points, his on-base percentage by 31, his OPS by 15, and the Tigers are 3-1. So clearly, Riley Green was just horrible this series. His slump is back.
Trash.
He needs to be sent down to single A. But
Trash.
no, if we're being serious, I'll take my snark out of it for a second. Game 4, he's got to be better. Game 4 with a 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 7th and the bases loaded, 1 out. Riley Green grounded into a first to home, back to first double play. That's not acceptable. No. That's the last couple of games he did go 0 for 8. But I'll also say that baseball to me is about series. It's not necessarily about games. And Riley Green, throughout the series, I think did enough. If you would have told me that he would have 5 hits and a 2-to-1 walk to strikeout ratio and the Tigers would win 3-1, I would have absolutely taken that. He'll be fine, because in the first couple of games, he had 5 hits combined, and he was a big reason why the Tigers were able to get those wins. Yes, it was rough in the last 2 games. Yes, his numbers relative to a couple days ago have taken a bit of a dive. And yes, his numbers throughout the totality of the season are not good enough. But he will be fine. He was good overall in the series, and he should. I heard the minors chatter come up again, and I can't do it anymore, man. I can't do it.
Yeah, that's just it. This is really just a testament to who your all-stars are. These are guys that you believe in. These are guys that you support, and it goes back to that same notion of just support your guys. Your guys are going to figure it out. If he's a dog, he's going to figure it out. If you don't think he's a dog, then you should firmly stand up and say, hey, send him away from here. We don't want him. And I guess some of those guys have said that. But the minors aspect, that to me was just completely overblown. And it shows that there is more needed as it relates to, we took the time to discuss this with the Lions, right? How are we going to be as fans of a team with expectations? This happened so fast with the Detroit Tigers. This team went from, we did the shows where a lot of people said playoffs, they're not making no playoffs, to this team being 1 game away from advancing to ALCS. And we had Scoobs on the mound. They had a great opportunity to make that happen this past season. And I do believe as fans, we're going to have to understand how to look at this thing big picture. It's like we forgot how to do this. I remember back in the day, if JV lost a game, or if Miguel had a bad outing, do you think people were going like, send them to the minors? Oh, this team, even in the beginning of the run, people weren't doing those things. They just honestly got behind and they supported. And after years of futility for our Tigers, years of futility for our Pistons, it's just interesting to see how many people are still conflicted despite these teams having made the playoffs.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not trying to say that Riley Green's numbers are good or that the last couple of games were good. I even admitted that he's got to be, if he comes through in the bottom of the 7th, they probably win that game, and that's on him. But I think he did enough in the first couple of games to at least salvage a good series for him. Another guy that I want to bring up, because Riley Green, in total, if people were just being normal about him, the story of the series isn't necessarily Riley Green. The starting pitching is a part of it, but Spencer Torkelson had himself a hell of a series as well, and he continues to build upon his season. He hasn't regressed to the mean as some people were thinking, something that I even thought maybe he would do at some point, and he still might. But right now, And I know it's early in the season. He just keeps building on what is an all-star campaign. This is honestly the best stretch of hitting from a Tigers player I've seen in years. Especially when it comes to the impact, when it comes to the hope that it gives you, because it's your 1-1 really finally having his moment and helping the Tigers win games. I know he had 30 home runs in a couple of years ago, but this is the best Spencer Torkelson we've ever seen, because right now, JB, I got one more on Torque. I got some really, really impressive numbers on Spencer Torkelson that really give you what he's doing this year. Spencer Torkelson, I don't have the exact figure, but these are where he ranks in the American League. Home runs, he's tied for 4th. RBIs, he's 2nd, only to Aaron Judge, by the way. No shame in that. Slugging percentage 4th, and OPS 4th. And when you talk about this weekend, too, and you continue to see this from Spencer Torkelson, the big game from him was Game 3, in which he provided the only offense. That was the 1-1 game where Casey Mize gave you 7 innings, 1 earned run, and then Spencer Torkelson, the only runs of the game for the Tigers were a 3-run homer. While guys like Riley Green are struggling and Colt Keith is struggling and Parker Meadows and Vierling are hurt, Spencer Torkelson, we as Tiger fans have to just give it up and be grateful for what he's doing, because if Spencer Torkelson wasn't taking this leap that most of us didn't see but some of us did, at least foresee, who's telling where the Tigers would be? They would honestly probably be about a 500 team. So Spencer Torkelson, keep it up. Never been happier to be wrong about a player. Right now, he's looking like an all-star first baseman. He's looking like one of the best first basemen in baseball, quite frankly.
And he took every single opportunity they gave him to improve, including this past offseason when they talked about the fact Spencer Torkelson is going to have to get it together. Yeah. That was honestly kind of shocking to hear that from the coach and from the front office, but clearly he got the message. He got the picture. And honestly, he got this. He started getting on a roll and figuring things out a little bit, before or a little bit after the trade deadline last year, which gave you some hope. Because before that point, a lot of people were, even the ones that believed in him, they couldn't say that they saw hope. They just believed he needed more time, more opportunity, just allow him to figure it out, because he knew the tools were there, so he's not going to be drafted where he's drafted. But when you saw what you did towards the second half of last season to help the best team in baseball during that stretch get to the playoffs, is where even guys like KG said, you know what, let's see what he does this offseason. And he went and he worked. He got better. Something from a mental standpoint just looks different. And when you look at that OPS, that's where it's just beautiful. You realize that through overall from a batting perspective, we can zero in on even home runs. We can zero in on RBIs. When you just look at the fact that this guy is just better at the plate now overall, seeing the plate better, drawing and attracting more walks, striking out just a little bit less, and finding himself in a position where he's contributing offensively, not just to help this team get by, but to help this team be number 1 in the AL Central. That's when you definitely are happy for Spencer Torkelson and happy for this team, whether you're a detractor or not. See how you do that? You see how you do that, man? You're able to get behind somebody you used to say you want to see more from and support, because he's helping your team right now. You realize that his success and supporting him in that journey, whether you criticize from time to time, it means better for the teams that we cover, the teams that all of us cheer and root for. And it's good to see the Tigers in this type of position right now.
Absolutely. And I think I've said for like the umpteenth time that I did not predict this. I was wrong. I am sorry. Keep raking. Have this great season.
No. You should stick to the energy.
Stick to the energy, right? Stand on business. Spencer Torkelson regression coming, and I was always. I'm kidding, obviously.
I got one question.
That's just idiotic behavior, and I'm not going to participate in it. Go ahead.
One quick question for you from Neil Rule. He says, so is Javi still in, and he puts this in quote, elite defender after costing the Tigers the game?
Elite what?
Trash. We know Neil is Mr. Hobby Watch.
Save it for Neil.
Tigers were up 3-2. Pitching gave up 2 earned runs. Defense cost him a game. There's no other way to say it. He's back on his Hobby stuff.
I mean,
and Hobby didn't help himself.
No, he's I think he's been better defensively than a lot of us thought he would this year. But yeah, that can't happen in the 8th inning. I do though. This is where I'm also going to be a little bit more big picture. If you're the Tigers, you can't expect to win games while scoring 3 runs. And I think Torres, Green, and Dingler, I finally got it right. Combined
Dingler.
goal for team as well.
The Diggler man.
So like, there's a lot that goes into it, but obviously that error was extremely costly.
And those names you just called out have been the names that have really led this Tigers offense. When we're talking about with Riley Green's slump, how have the Tigers been doing this? It was those names that called out. This Tigers team, if they want to go to the next step, it's no longer looking at this as a situation where Riley Green and Tarek Skubal have to be everything for this team. World Series winning teams don't win World Series that way. You have to make sure that everybody else who is contributing to your best spots in the season are still doing that. And it's what underpinned a lot of their success last year. A lot of other players stepped up. And this is where this season, when you're looking at their success this year, the recipe has to be that, yes, you want Riley Green and Tarek Skubal to play the all-star level, but you also want to make sure that everybody else is playing to at least Major League Baseball rotation level, which has been a struggle before this. Even last year, the first half of the season, we talked about, man, they need a couple more MLB rotation level bats in this thing.
And I'll tell you what, let's go to break, and I got to mention a couple other players when we get back, because an unlikely MLB level bat has emerged, at least in the month of April, and this guy has played a big factor in why the Tigers are as good as they are in first place.
JBSmooovv, should we double up on anything?
Yeah, we can. We can do Jars and Lady Jane's.
Let's ride.
Let me tell you about Jars first. Matter of fact, I just got a text message from Jars too as well. So sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or just simply chilling at home, Jars Cannabis has you covered. Jars is home of Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products. 27 locations across the state, 9 alone in Metro Detroit, so there's always one close nearby you. But don't fear, because we live in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, Michigan. Stores are popping up your way very, very soon. If you don't have time to check out all the products they have in store, check them out online at jarscannabis.com, because I know you want to get high.
Get high and get hired and come to Lady Jane's and get lined up, because they take the try to getting a haircut. Our talented stylists will deliver an industry-leading haircut, relaxing scalp massage. My favorite, that hot lather neck shave.
Nice
and a hot
and wet
towel
and
treatment.
dip.
Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. It's wicked awesome.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join him every Tuesday on Beat the Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering top-notch injury advice. Why? Because you want to trust the guy that DMAC trusts, and because Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And just while you're out and about, hey, Buddy's for lunch sounds great. Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946, and 79 years later, they have 22 locations in this great state of pure Michigan. And fans can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your order using promo code 10meal. So that's the number 10MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com. Hey, and we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward Chat family. Thank you guys for choosing to kick off this day with the WUW Crew, and it's a game day. It's a victory series show. We wish that we had a playoff win from those Detroit Pistons, but tomorrow we could be in here really on one, especially if the Pistons and the Tigers take care of business. And with the Tigers, it would be nice to see some of those guys that we've relied upon be able to keep it going in this series against the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
They're 16-6 on the year, by the way. The Padres.
They're a good team, and I believe they won on Sunday Night Baseball last night. But you need more from Riley Green. You need more from Colt Keith. Although Colt Keith, man, he did get a hit yesterday. Shout out to him, and he did score a run. But he's somebody that KG might be right. He might be somebody who might actually get sent down at some point. Not that I'm rooting for it, but we shall see. But other players have continued to step up, and there's one that I teased. There's one I'm obviously haven't gotten to yet, and I promise I will. But the one that I teased was, of course, none other than Zach McKinstry. He's making things real difficult, I think, for Hinch and Scott Harris and whatnot when players get back from injury. Because right now, you've got to keep sending Zach McKinstry out there because he's one of your best players. He leads the team in on-base percentage at 400. Absolutely scorching hot. Second on the team in positional wins above replacement at 1.1. Torks is 1.2, by the way. Tied for second on the team in RBIs. Just so many big clutch hits when you need one. Zach McKinstry has came through, and he's another one. Talk about guys who step up. He's looking like more than just a utility player, and he's one that, of course, you can think of maybe a regression's coming, but even if it does, where would you be without Zach McKinstry so far? You'd probably have a couple more losses. We talked about where you'd be without Torque, but Zach McKinstry, man, that's Zach McKinstry is emblematic of like the gritty Tigers, you know what I mean? Somebody who just steps up when needed and does all the right things. He has been a perfect utility player and more. He should be starting. I mean, he's starting every day because he should be.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you highlighted that because it continues to show the growth of this team overall and just how healthy you can believe in what they're doing right now. And you want these guys to understand that too because they're going to contribute to this Detroit Tigers team being able to take that next step, especially as this squad is still looking to get healthy, especially as they're still trying to figure out certain aspects. Some of these other players that have struggled, if you tell me Riley Green is going to go through the slump that he did just prior to busting out against the Royals, if you're telling me that you're going to have an injury to some of your injury replacements like Margot, if you're telling me that Scoobs is not going to necessarily be Cy Scoobs, if you're telling me that we're having a discussion about Colt Keith, who we're talking about depending on this season, potentially have to go down to the minors, and some of the players that are there, I would have told you that the Tigers are not winning, that they're not leading the division this point in time. And to see it there is why I'm really glad that AJ Hinch has been able to do more than just pull the strings to manufacture runs. These guys have contributed to over 8 hits a game and over 4 runs per game. That is the recipe, and they have to continue to understand just how important it is, which I know they do. But sometimes baseball becomes a sport where you get so trapped into what you individually are doing at the plate. But when you take a step back and you highlight effectively what these guys are doing, it's not that they're necessarily even just role players. They're playing big roles for this Tigers team and what they're doing right now. They're largely have been catalysts, especially while we don't have some of those bats in the lineup due to injuries. We don't have some of the defenders in the field that we're used to seeing. We got a few of those guys back. Like when you insert Gleyber Torres, it was everything that I've heard you and KG talking about we would be able to see from a guy like that. So I'm happy, though, that up to this point, they've been able to do enough to still be a half game ahead of the Guardians for number 1 in the AL Central. Still
in first place, still in a really good spot right now. And another player that I want to highlight, too, is, of course, Kerry Carpenter. 8 hits. 8 hits in this series, and none of them are home runs, which is kind of an interesting stat. But Kerry Carpenter, all he's done is just rake for the most part. He actually has a very interesting stat line. He's got 5 home runs, 3 doubles, 15 singles, and 1 walk. That's kind of a funny. He's pretty much either single or home run for single home runner out for the most part. But he's he's done his job and he's been healthy. I know that he left the game with some hamstring issue, and we hope that that's not anything serious. But unfortunately with Kerry Carpenter, anytime there's any sort of limp or anything, you have to gasp a little bit, because there's never been any issue with Kerry Carpenter as a hitter. The only thing has been health, and we certainly cannot afford to lose him right now, because he has a 315 batting average. He has an 899 OPS. If there were all-star voting right now, he would probably get some. Torque would certainly be in. Kerry Carpenter would certainly get some votes as well. And he's been healthy so far. He's been absolutely raking. And he's made some nice plays in the outfield, by the way. Quiet is kept.
Yeah, and out of what we've seen from Riley Green and Tarek Skubal, obviously we know how much their all-star seasons last year propelled the Detroit Tigers in that season. Are you okay with, and do you believe that the Detroit Tigers, their success right now is sustainable, even if we don't get kind of the peak forms of Riley Green and Tarek Skubal the rest of the way? We get, good Scoobs and good Green, but we don't necessarily get some of the stuff that we saw last season.
Oh, God, that's tough. You'd have to ask me when players get back due to injury, because I'm still, and I'm not a hater, I promise.
Because they make differences.
I'm still not convinced that Spencer Torkelson will finish the season with an OPS of over 1,000. I'm not even necessarily convinced that he'll finish with one over 900. That's not hate. That's just
a regression. A little
that's
bit
just
to the
how.
Knicks.
If he has an 890 OPS, though, that's huge. But one of the reasons why the Tigers have been able to be as good as they are, I mean, we could go to both when it comes to Green and Skubal. One of the reasons why the Tigers have continued to be as good as they are, because Spencer Torkelson has been Superman. Zach McKinstry has been a Superman version of what Zach McKinstry can be. Kerry Carpenter has been a mainstay in the lineup, whether it's against lefties or righties, and he continues to hit. When it comes to the Tigers and the pitching staff, and Skubal, and for the record, before this last game, he did have 13 innings pitched and 0 earned runs his previous couple of starts. But if you're telling me that instead of being Cy Young Skubal, he's maybe regular all-star, maybe 5th in Cy Young Skubal, I think that's another one where, is Casey Mize going to continue to do this? My goodness, I hope so. But we'll see. Or is he going to be somebody whose ERA ends up being like 3.2, which is also excellent, but you've needed Casey Mize to be Superman. You've needed Jackson Jobe to just hit the ground running and be a lead AL Rookie of the Year candidate. You needed Jack Flaherty to pick up exactly where he left off from his last times with a Chris Fetter. And I don't necessarily know if everybody that I mentioned is going to continue to sustain their level of play. I think what's more likely to happen is Riley Green snaps out of it. By June, July, we're laughing that we ever were worried about him, and that Tarek Skubal is right there in the Cy Young race at the end of the year.
And helps them be able to really overcome the different ups and downs, highs and lows from the seasons like this. Like, we're glad that we're getting effectively, in some parts, even even all-star level production from players. And how much pressure does it take away when you do know that Riley Green and Tarek Skubal are getting it together, and that they're doing what they're doing now? That's where I believe you get the Tigers in their best possible position to hit that 88, 91 wins, even potentially more, and stay as really the leaders. Keep control of this AL Central and make it tough all season on the Guardians, who is going to be, honestly, their stiffest and their toughest competition. And Randall Smalls, I saw Chuckle Cheese as well. He says that he never really was that confident on Colt Keith. But Randall Smalls believes it's just, when you're talking about players who you want to see get going. Obviously, they were depending on him coming into the season to play not just a big role, but a versatile role while they managed their way through injuries. And they say Colt Keith, Randall Smalls says, is confused. He got his position taken away twice. First, second base, and then first base.
I remember and that just shows how what Spencer Torkelson doing is just so amazing, because Colt Keith was supposed to be the everyday first baseman. There were less questions coming into the year about Colt Keith and Spencer Torkelson. It's not even close. It's funny. Baseball is just a fickle, funny game. But yeah, Spencer Torkelson has come in and been an all-star level, MVP level, quite frankly. And then Colt Keith, unfortunately, he's really had the double whammy. His offense has been bad, hitting under 200, and his defense has been bad. The one thing he has continued to do is walk, which is kind of funny. He has 13 of them things, and that's pretty awesome. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about other players stepping up, you're not going to send Zach McKinstry to the minors. You're not going to send Riley Green to the minors. I mean, maybe you send Andy Ibanez instead of Colt Keith when it's time for somebody to come up. Maybe you send Justin Henry Malloy down instead of Colt Keith. But Colt Keith, unfortunately, is on that list of what do we do when Veerling's back? What do we do when Parker Meadows is back? Is he still going to be with the team? Fortunately for Colt Keith, he's got time to really right that and to be what he was last year and to maybe find his power stroke, for which he has had none this year, still stuck at a goose egg for home runs. But Colt Keith, unfortunately, is going through it. And as much as I'm happy about the Tigers and what they're doing, on a personal level, you can imagine Colt Keith isn't getting much sleep at nights, and I feel for the guy.
Yeah, and I see Randall. He's saying, man, just let the kids play. I like QT's comment here as well. Torque is doing more than just hitting home runs. He's hitting for average, hitting doubles, drawing walks, and getting on base.
Yep.
And he is, man. When you look at everything that he's doing, it really shows. And I'm hoping it's showing even more to these other players, and it helps impress a little less what they can do to contribute to this Tigers season. I don't know, we all start off a season saying what our hopes are, but there's also going to be some moments of levity. This team right now is leading the AL Central, and they have won all but, 2 series on the season?
Yeah, it would be Dodgers and Milwaukee, right? Yeah.
And they got, and that's where I hope that this team and their mindset going forward is one in which they understand what's ahead for them.
Yep.
And everything that they just accomplished, being a playoff squad, it doesn't matter from top to bottom. You want each and every one of these players to walk with that confidence. That's what I honestly liked about guys like when we saw Job and Reese Olson. No matter what the outcome was in that game, you saw that these kids belonged on this level. And Spencer Torkelson figuring it out right now mentally, and then at the plate being able to see things a little bit better. I have hope for Colt Keith, but obviously it's not looking promising when you're talking about this team getting a little bit more healthy, especially a big trade deadline on the way.
Yeah,
this is a really big trade deadline for the Tigers.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you're not playing up to par, you won't be in this lineup, because this is a team that I think is going to continue to contend. And I meant to do this earlier, but yeah, I hope that I haven't just been implying that Spencer Torkelson is just a home run machine, even though his bombs have been real torque bombs and they've been prodigious. But he also he's tied for the team lead in walks with Zach McKinstry and Colt Keith. Who would have thought that before the year? He's tied for the team lead in walks with 13. He's lapping the field in doubles for the team at 7. Riley Green is second with 4, by the way, but I was told he should go to the minors. But in terms of total bases, Spencer Torkelson has the team lead with 51. Kerry Carpenter is second with 41, which that's a big gap, and Riley Green's third with 32, but I was told he should go to the minors. When it comes to hits, Kerry Carpenter and Spencer Torkelson are tied for the team lead. Riley Green and Zach McKinstry are tied for second. But again, I was told Riley Green should be sent to the minors. So you see what I'm doing there. I'm propping up Torque, but I'm being a little bit self-serving when it comes to a Green as well. But Torque, the point of it all is that Torque has been an all-around hitter. He's been clutch as well, really good situational hitting, giving you so many of those bombs that are just scintillating. Like when he really gets a hold of one and he pulls one to the left field bleachers, it's like porn to me, if you've probably got that queued up. But for real, it is.
Especially when he knows it, too.
Oh, when he knows it.
When he knows it.
That one to break a scoreless tie on Saturday was it was, for lack of a better term, it was sex on a stick. I mean, it's like porn to me.
Sex on a stick, bro.
Sex on a stick.
Is that common
shit is
vernacular,
this?
or did I just make something up?
Sex on a stick. Man, pause.
I don't even know what to say.
Man, pause. What the hell? Sex on a stick.
Whoops.
What's the reason? Into the chat.
God damn.
Man. I will definitely have to look at the chat on that as well, too. But shout out to Randall Small sending in a $2 super chat. He said, I will go out on a limb. Colt hits a dingler today. $2. What do you think?
Yeah, I think
Cole is hitting a dingler, huh?
He said dinger.
Dinger.
Oh, okay.
He said dinger, which is a common term for a home run. I mean, I hope so. They're facing a right-handed
hope
pitcher, so Colt Keith is probably going to be in the lineup at least until maybe a left-handed reliever comes in. I've seen Hinch do that a couple of times and put Ibanez in. But yeah, Colt Keith, he can rewrite the story of his season as well. And honestly, I think he's been pretty valuable just getting on base. But he needs to get that batting average over the Mendoza line, that's for sure.
I'm still tripping over sex on the stick, dog. That was hilarious, man.
That
was hilarious. Willie B just lost it, too. All right, but voice the reason in there, man. These Detroit Tigers, San Diego Padres, this series opens up. Let's get those series predictions before we go around. What up, though, JBSmooovv? How you feeling? Padres been on one this season.
Padres have definitely been on one this season. Definitely a game or a series I'm willing to sit here and actually sit down and watch, but I think somehow, some way, the Tigers still pull this one out. Like, I know it's been a little bit of a slump and a rough going this past game, but still, I got faith in the Tigers. I mean, this game right now, if I got to do a prediction on it, Tigers win 4-3.
4-3, they get back in that win. Colin, what about you, Willie B?
Winning, like straight up winning, 3-1. Tigers whooping the Royals' butt. It's gonna be awesome.
Hey, Chad, family, put your predictions in for this next series as well. It's going to be an opportunity now for the Tigers to prove themselves against another team that's at the top of the standings, a team that has a few more wins than them right now. And I want to see how they respond in this matchup in particular. Some of the guys that we've been wanting to see get hot, and who Riley Green is in this series in particular. So let me know what you think is going to happen in this series between the Padres and the Tigers. But what about you, Final Sam?
All right, so I'm looking ahead at their schedule. I can't give you a definitive what they're going to do in this series. But this homestand, they're in the midst of a 10-game homestand. They already took 3 out of 4 from Kansas City. In the they've got San Diego for 3, and then they've got Baltimore for 3. Those are some tough matchups right there. Those are some good teams probably going to be in the playoffs. In their next 6 games, they split 3 of 3 to take the 10-game homestand 6 games to 4. That's my final prediction on at least what they're going to do on this homestand. I know that it's looking a little bit too far might be looking a little bit too far in the future, but I'm looking at 2 really good teams. 3 out of 3 and 3 in the next 6 is a win.
I feel like tonight might be that one that they drop. But
Cater Montero's on the mound.
I was going to just say
bounce back the next 2 games.
Montero's pitching tonight.
We'll see. Like I said, Cater Montero's on the mound. And don't get me wrong. He did a lot of really nice things for the Tigers last year, but if I'm being honest, I wouldn't have him starting games.
And I'm not saying MVP of the series, but who's your player to watch across the series, whether it be a pitcher, a starting pitcher, a bullpen, or somebody in the lineup?
Riley Green.
Riley Green?
Riley Green, yeah. No, I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny, but you actually saw in the last series, and don't get me wrong, he struggled.
Has to be right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he struggled a lot in the last couple of games, but in the totality of the series, he did contribute. He did get a lot of big hits, some big RBIs, some big hard hit singles, which turned those into extra base hits. But yeah, Riley Green needs to get right. And I think at the end of this series, you're going to be looking at him with bold prediction, not really that bold. By the end of this series, he will have an on-base percentage that starts with a 3 and an OPS that starts with a 7. And then he's only going to go his on-base percentage.
Let's go.
Well, his on-base percentage is 270, and his OPS, I believe, is 651. One really good game, and he's already got that. He just needs to maintain it.
Hey, I like that a lot. And you know what? To Salih Booth, I'm going to give my player to watch as well, my intriguing one. It doesn't necessarily have to be an MVP. It doesn't even necessarily have to be an X factor, but just a player you're watching and a reason why. But you can't say one of the ones that's already been stated. So mine is Reese Olson. I do. Yeah, for the expectations that this team has, I want to continue to see Reese Olson go out there and look like he belongs from a confidence standpoint, from a command standpoint as a pitcher, and knowing that he's going to be as the last pitcher in this series. Depending on how it shakes out, he might be the one that we're relying on to get a dub in this series. I just want to see who he is against the Padres, and I believe this is a really good test early on in the season for him.
I would actually bet a sizable amount of money that the Tigers and Padres will split these next couple of games. So, and that's your point. That Reese Olson, if he pitches a gem in Game 3, then the Tigers win a series against the Padres. That's a big deal. That's now you look at multiple series wins against some of the cream of the crop of the MLB. If you can do it against the Yankees and then do it against the Padres, that's a big deal.
Gosh, that's a big deal. Hey, yeah. JBSmooovv, what up, though, brother?
I think I got two to watch out for. I'm going to lean on Colt Keith for this one as my player to watch. And player to watch with a blindfold on, Javi Baez. That's just me.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Wait, player to watch with a blindfold on?
Yep, watch with a blindfold.
Dog.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but the Tigers, they need him. You wish you didn't have to.
That is the uncomfortable truth.
That is the uncomfortable truth. And to be honest,
I wonder how Neil feels about that.
I think he's hit the ball better in terms of getting singles, in terms of batting average and on-base percentage than you thought that he would, but he has no power whatsoever. He's actually Singlio, or Singlier, as they call him on the show, which is actually pretty funny nickname.
I'm watching Javi Baez like Daredevil right now. Just blind.
Oh, my God.
We're radar senses.
Willie B, what about you to round out this Tigers talk?
The Torque guy. Spencer Torque, man. The way he's hitting the ball, the way he's been consistent, he got a lot better last year. Now he got, he stepped it up after Cabrera retired. He's the one that stepped up be the face of the hitting.
I feel that.
Teams.
Blue Chew, he got to keep it up.
He got to keep it up, man. You got to go rock hard with the Rhino pill, at the gas station.
Hey, yo.
Pause. I say pause, man.
Them J-Mo honey packs. How do we get Spencer Torkelson those J-Mo honey packs for the season?
And man, gas station pill, the Rhino pill, man.
He might be on something with the way that he's. I mean, honestly.
I'll tell you at the show, Flanagan.
I'm not saying that he's on PEDs for the record. I know what honey packs are. Yeah. I don't know from experience, but I know what honey packs
but that's all right.
Hey, big busket, boy.
Ooh, and
bang, bang.
I'll say this, though. Have any of you taken a gander at the numbers Fernando Tatis Jr. has been putting up this year?
Hey, what's up, man?
358 average, 8 home runs, 16 RBIs, 436
Damn.
On base, 29 hits, and a 1.128 OPS. And Fernando Tatis, quite as kept, the last couple of years have been good, but not quite what you accustomed to from Tatis. But he's the NL MVP right now.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Dominant.
He's a great player.
Goodness gracious.
So Reese Olson, Reese Olson.
He's just leading his team in everything, bro.
Yeah, in everything. If you can hold Fernando Tatis even to like 2 of 4 with 2 singles, you'd probably take that if we're being honest.
That's a unicorn.
This is a really good test because after they got, they battled but got washed by the Dodgers. We wanted to see who is this team going to be in response. The Padres are doing, they started off the season well, but I don't believe that they're the Dodgers. I want to see our team.
I don't think so either. I don't think that Fernando Tatis might very well be the MVP of the National League when it's all said and done. I wouldn't put that past him. But these numbers are unsustainable. Even for him. He might have an OPS of like high 900s or 1,000, but he's going to regress a little bit. And I don't know about their pitching. But then again, the Dodgers, their pitching, it's tough. They if Glasnow's healthy, Yamamoto, they might be fine. But the Padres, I'm not so sure.
Hey man, cooking up. Let's get to this next segment because I know it's the one that everybody loves. JB got to cook up. What friend do you want to say what up though to, brother?
We got to hear from Mark White.
Hey, that's right.
Mark White, of course. Dream of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hot gloves Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
One.
You already know Loom Cannabis Company, but did you know that they've got all the brands you love now for less? With unbeatable prices, a wider selection, and the best loyalty program, Loom is the premier destination for new and experienced shoppers alike. Experience Michigan's #1 recreational dispensary at one of their 38 locations. Use code WSN for 30% off your entire order, online or in store. Go to loom.com today. Yo, Neil Rules in the chat, and this is actually kind of funny because I didn't even know this until right now. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There he is. Flannel, what's the problem with Riley's OPS? It's higher than Singlier Baez's OPS, who I was told is having a good year. That's actually true, and it's wild. I mean, don't get me wrong. When it comes to on-base percentage and when it comes to batting average, Javi does have Riley beat. But my favorite stat in all of baseball is OPS, and that's the problem when you really have no power. And we all know Javi Baez, he's good for a single, the occasional double, but no home runs, and that's really going to hurt your OPS because even though it seems like it's been forever, Riley did have 3 in like the first 5 games, which his OPS is hanging on by a thread because of that. Still not a good OPS, but the fact that it's higher than Javi's, that's a good catch by you, Neil. Even when Javi's better, he still sucks, right?
Shout out to Neil, man, being tapped in too, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
The legend. Elite. And Randall Smalls, I see you, man. He says, I miss KG. We miss KG, too.
We all miss KG.
We miss KG,
but,
man.
JB, get it sparking, right?
Hey,
Let's
spark
do it.
up words
Spark
to
up words,
jars, Loom, Map Packs, anything else?
Map Packs. Boom shakalaka.
Boom! Shakalaka.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Yo, what's going on, chat
That's
family?
right.
What's up,
the
fellas?
incomparable JBSmooovv.
Hey, appreciate that. I got a couple videos for you guys. You know we got to go back to the gym because after your Easter dinner and your 420 partakings and snackings as well too, you got to go and you got to work off some of those pounds that you might have added on. But just know, never show off when you know you shouldn't be.
Here we go.
Oh.
Dumbass.
Whoa!
Is he still with us?
He's
Oh,
still with
wait,
us.
bro.
I don't know if the ladies
So
are,
his
though.
stupidity took somebody else out too?
Dumbass.
Oh! She got smacked in the back of the head, bro.
Lean back. Oh, damn.
That's crazy.
That hurts.
Bro,
Remind me
that
of
is
something.
somebody, like some boyfriend somewhere, dog, is getting a call right now like, yo, your wife was in an accident at the gym. Like, that is wild, bro.
She wasn't even working on anything. It was just him.
He
Like,
gets
hey,
no TG t-shirts. Not at
no
all.
TG t-shirts.
He put lives in danger.
Man, it looked like she got clothesline for the back.
Is he doing like a superset or something?
Got clothesline for the
I
back.
don't even know.
I don't know what he's trying to do.
Those are the ones that are the worst ones, right?
Like, there's not even any counterweight. I see no counterweight. How did he not know this wasn't going to happen?
He thought it was a little strong enough for the
Ruin
bar.
it for everyone, brother.
Ruin it for everyone.
He's going to end up on like a Joey Swole video sometime soon. I'm sure you guys have seen those.
Do better.
Do better. You need to do better. Mind your business. Or whatever he says. Joey Swole's the man, though.
Just do better. Do better and do something different because I don't know what this guy's doing.
What the hell?
No, God. What is he training for?
I don't know. Like, what is this?
What's the little
Looks like one of my
spinny
slow
thing,
classmates I went to school with.
Like the
that
ninja
do
stuff
that.
at the top, that's cool. But what are you using that for?
How
What are
is
you
the
using
ninja
spinny
stuff
thing
cool
for,
at
Flip?
the top? Like, what is it?
No, I got a story about that.
That's the thing, because I know people plank. It's well, I mean,
The plank, I can understand it. I just don't know. What are you working on with the spinning thing? That one is just what are you cosplay as Sonic on the weekends?
I wonder though, is this acceptable, or if we were clowning this, would a Joey Swole be like, you need to mind your bit? I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah.
I always worry about that now.
Willie, you said you had a story about this?
Yeah,
when you
dude.
pair it with the
This
clip
dude
from
named
before,
Alvin. He think he's a
if you're
Ninja
using
Turtle
the
in real
equipment
life.
in the way you're not supposed to,
Wait,
I'm gonna be a little bit concerned about it.
That's fair.
He
That guy
do
looks like he
acrobatic
might
stuff
fall.
in the playground with the monkey bars. He think he's a real life Ninja Turtle. So
Oh, man, saying
a real
he is
life
preparing
Ninja
for the
Turtle.
ultimate playground games.
yeah, definitely. Man, I tell you, man, there's one kid named Alvin, dog, in Dewey Center back in '96. The dude think he's a live ass Ninja Turtle, and the dude wears no but blue.
What's his name?
Alvin. I never forget this kid name. He was the third grade. I was sixth grade. Man, they came in the monkey bars. He accidentally called me Master Splinter for no reason. So he went to the monkey bars and said, "Master Splinter, watch this." This young motherfucker just did a frontwards flip, land on his back. Master Splinter, I hurt myself. I said, "Why you did that?" I gotta grab the t-shirt. We had to carry him back to the back to his room. I said, "No more foot soldiers for you, man. Combat training is over." Grasshopper.
oh my God.
Like Master Splinter said to the Ninja Turtles.
That's rough.
I tell you,
Would you-
man, Willie D, the most
Willie
interesting man
got
in the
some
world.
stories,
Bro,
man.
would you give him a TGT shirt? Did he earn that at least?
No, he earned the fuck out of it. I'll tell you that. He earned that. He earned that, man. That man with the front row, land on his back. He didn't hurt. I mean, he hurt his back, but he recuperated, man. Saw it next day, man.
Golly, dog. I
Man.
got the tears in my eyes now,
Telling
dog.
you, that's a true story.
Mike G, but I believe I can fly in the chat, man.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
What else you got for us, JB?
Moving on. Like I said, hopefully you enjoyed your
that's
Easter
hilarious.
weekend or your 420 if you were celebrating as well too. Shout out because WrestleMania was also this past weekend as well too. But you know what? Monday comes at you real fast, so just make sure you're ready for it.
Ooh, whoa!
That's my nephew.
Wow.
Did they even start?
Yeah, I
That
mean,
All right.
You got to be prepared. What the world?
That's a heck of a flying kick there.
Use this as a motivational video for my kids. Like,
Right,
don't get
yeah.
kicked in the face.
Does it say, like, oh, you think you're good? Can you knock someone out with a kick in 5 seconds?
He actually did. He
Goodness, I don't even know what I'm doing if I'm on the side and my kid gets dogged like that.
time out.
get your little ass home.
I'll be like that Russell Westbrook meme where he's eating like,
Yeah, that's one where you're
I
like,
don't know who that kid is.
where you're like,
My
son.
daddy. I'm like,
No. My brother cussed me out because I showed my little 3-year-old nephew a move, and he used it on his preschool classmates. He said, "Man, hey man, what the? Why you showing my sons that move, man?" I practiced it back then down in the basement. He saw me do it. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna show what I'm gonna learn what Uncle Will do."
my man, you over here sending baby
man,
Goku
come on,
to the daycare.
Yes,
Yeah, bro, you just.
I know I'm bad, but damn it, I try to be the good uncle I am.
I mean, I respect it. You just sent them out there with weapons and just
Fight Club.
And y'all fucked my picture up too, but I
First
give
rule
you
of
a pass on
Infant
that.
Fight Club: you do not talk about infant fight. Great movie, by the way.
It is.
It was a good movie.
Hopefully none of the infants already have borderline personality. Well, you know what? I'm not going to. Spoiler alert. Sorry. Sorry. Spoiler alert.
Finally, I will end what's trendy with this because I want to show you guys real pain because I've experienced this. Hopefully you haven't, but just know when you're trying to go back to your seat and you just got a nice full plate and things just go wrong.
Oh.
Don't you just hate it? This is a sad moment.
Yeah, dog, I get it.
This is just pure pain.
Am I the only one who hears this song going, no?
Yeah, right.
Oh, damn.
That
pure
is, that
pain.
is just that's tragic, man.
Golly.
He was so ready to eat that pizza,
He looks
bro.
like he waited in line at like a food truck that's only there for that time. You know the ones you got to like stay tapped to
Wait
the app,
all
then
the
you
time.
figure out the location, then
Yeah.
the wait
Duh.
line. This man looks like, yo, I finally caught the food truck, and now they gone.
Oh. And I like how nobody's like, my bad.
Life is still just going on all around them. They still
Life
hooping.
is just rough.
The man is in hell right now. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Actually, I do like the reaction to the other person right behind him, dog. They feel him, dog. They must have been in line with him. Look at the face. Look at the face of the person in the black shirt.
It's like no,
that's right. Yeah,
it's like he watching. It's like watching a good porn that you wait for a minute and end up your Wi-Fi disconnected. Tragic. That's
What
how
is
I
it
feel.
like that? What is it for you, man? That would make you respond like that.
Probably that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Sheesh.
I remember when I was in university, the student union was pretty far from. I actually had a dorm my first year in a college, and my student union was far away from that. And there were some precarious times where I'd be carrying a bunch of food like this. Fortunately, I never had it happen where I dropped it. But if I would have just said, you know what, car, just go ahead and hit me. It's all good.
Just go ahead and hit me.
Just go ahead.
Jeez.
Damn it.
That's it for what's trending today, you guys. Flannel, don't let the car hit you, man.
Did I go too far? Sorry.
Don't
Jake.
let the car hit you.
We kind of tie up.
I am fine. I am stable and I am fine. Feldman. Chevrolet of Novi, Detroit's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the Chevrolet dealer of the year for 6 consecutive years. They got deals of the month. You can get a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew for $199 a month. You can also get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $249 a month. Come see George Hawes and his team at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi.
Hey, and it's time for Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, a mailbag segment. Randall Smalls, he asked that Feldman mailbag, do you guys think we have to move up, stay, or move back to select a Booker from Bama?
I hope that it's stay or move back because with all due respect to Tyler Booker, I wouldn't move up for him. I would probably stand pat if those are the options and see if either him or if you want an interior lineman, see if him or Grace Abel falls, and if not, pick Tate Ratledge at 60. That's what I would do, but that's just me.
Definitely. It is a draft weekend, and this is the question I want to know from you guys. What is that strategy? We've all looked at these draft boards. We've all done different mocks and things of that nature. Just the way that you see this shaping up, you see that there could be some depth in the trenches. What overall is that strategy for you? Is it just stay put, or do you believe, you know what, that guy that you know can be a day one starter is there at 15, 20, maybe you move up?
And this is just me. I don't care. Brad Holmes would never do that. Don't care. This is what I would do. I would stand pat and pick the one person who you're like, I can't believe this guy fell. Whether it's maybe a little foreshadowing, Kenneth Grant, whether it's James Pierce Jr.
Even if it's BPA over need.
Obviously,
there's some parameters.
I would hesitate if it were like Matthew Golden or somebody like
Right.
that. But if it's James Pierce Jr. or a Kenneth Grant or even Donovan Ezeraku or Nick Scorton, I'd probably pick whichever one of those, if any, falls to 28.
Scorton is going to be the one.
He's the one most likely to fall. The others are probably going to be
Alma
gone.
mater.
Texas A&M. Shamar Stewart's going to probably be gone too. Scorton's kind of like the size archetype that they like, but I would stand pat and pick whoever falls that shouldn't.
I'm with you on that, and I believe, I don't know why, but part of me is like I kind of would rather them, if they're going to trade back with that second pick and give yourself an opportunity. If it is really that deep, if you can go out there and find some good rotational players with some higher ceilings potentially, in those rounds 2 to 4, that's where I kind of want them, like you said, stay pat at first round. I think they're going to get somebody who can make an impact day one, whether they're a starter or not. But in those other rounds where there's so much more depth, if you can get a couple more draft picks in this draft, I would actually do that and load up in those trenches or take a flyer on, if you say you want 4th round, we don't mind taking a flyer on this wide receiver who shouldn't be here at this level. So that's kind of my strategy. Stay put, like you said, at 1. Get that player that, within reason can be that dog for you. And in second round, give yourself a second round and beyond, give yourself a few more assets to play with.
There might be good value for that. I just think with the first pick that you take, it's somebody that can challenge for a starting spot day one. But there's plenty of those guys in the second round, most likely.
Yeah. Hey, what about you, JBSmooovv? We'll let this be what rounds us off because it is draft week. We got a draft and a Detroit Pistons playoff game on the same day this Thursday. So it's going to be definitely April in the D live in effect. But what about you, man? What's that strategy for you going into this draft?
Definitely going to be busy this weekend. Hopefully you guys stay tapped in with us as well, too. We got the watch party and the draft watch party as well, too. If I'm the Lions here, 2 options. Either I'm staying put or, as Flannel said, I'm trading back into that second round and doubling up once again. But if you stay put, you're probably just going to go BPA with Brad Holmes. It doesn't matter who or what we think or the edge that we want in this first round. I mean, maybe he doesn't see it that way. Maybe he sees a better option in that second round. So he's definitely going to play BPA and when it comes to that 28th pick. But it's either stay put or move back to get more draft options in that second round.
I think it'd be more shrewd for Brad Holmes to be strategic about those draft picks. He'd probably make a trade to figure out what player go fits in the Lions roster, because you never know. Brad is not budging when it comes to what they need for the draft, who they gonna sign. He shows that he don't care what folks or reporters think about who he gonna pick. If he saw some potential that fits his program, he gonna pick it regardless.
I like that, man. I like that, and this has been a good show. We're definitely missing our brother KG. Shout out to Matthew Broder, that dude Justin, missing Kavasi Chase, who's generally in studio, even if you don't see him on camera. But these guys are always still doing so much for not just this show, but the whole network behind the scenes. And we missed you today, guys. But thank you for all that you do. I think that's a show.
That is a show.
Hey, that's what you need. That transition offense, Detroit Pistons. We know what they're gonna bring you tonight, because. Got a big game tonight if you didn't hear. Tigers getting going at 6:30. The Pistons get going at 7:30. We are going to have a watch party here tonight. So make sure you guys are staying tapped in. We'll see if we can start that a little early. So heavies, I know we're going to go tough on Detroit Pistons versus Knicks preview. And then at 7:05, after we get some things set up, maybe we go live and we can start to break down and discuss the keys to victory for the Detroit Pistons before the game gets going at 7:30. So stay tapped in. Tell people send the link. And let's have some fun tonight with the Detroit Pistons. Support them. Just go along for the ride on this one. It's been a long time for this. I've seen this several times, and I'm just realizing how many people have never even got to experience this really one time. A hopeful Detroit Pistons team. I saw in the chat that said today is about the Pistons. So let's rock. Let's rock, you guys. It's been a show. Shout out to this elite booth. We got Willie B in the sound booth. Hold it down. What up?
Yo. I'm going to tell you this, man. The Pistons going to overcome this. They're going to take a win for Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. They chop cheese. Flat out chop cheese, man. They're going to be chop cheese tonight, man. They're going to take it away and run it. And Tigers got to go out there and compete real hard against the number 1 National League Padres. So that case, they got to go out there and compete extremely well. So you got to go out there and balls to the wall, fellas. Let's go.
Hey, you know what? In the TD booth, we got WUW Sports MVP JBSmooovv. What up, though, brother?
Hey, thank you for everyone staying tapped in with us today. Hopefully you had a good Easter, good weekend as well, too. Pistons, get it done tonight. Tigers, get it done as well. Montero, please don't mess this up on the mound tonight. Please don't mess this up on the mound tonight.
Just
I'm praying.
don't.
Just don't.
Please.
We need this win, so let's just stay faithful. And you know what? We got those watch parties tonight, too, so stay tapped in with us.
Stay tapped in. The vet of the squad, vet of the network, Red Wings correspondent, ball knower across several sports. That's Flannel Sam in the red, white, and blue. I'm going to call it Pistons Flannel.
Oh, yeah. Pistons is really the only show in town tonight. Even though the Tigers Go Tigers, get that win at Comerica. But Pistons playoffs, game 2, I would probably say close to a must-have. Go get it done tonight.
Hey, and shout out to the people, dog. They said that Will's picture is creepy. So we gotta get that camera
Yeah,
set.
thank you, JB, for that. I like that.
I picked the classiest
that's a
picture.
very- That's a very fine picture.
My eye, man, I had an eye injury years ago on my right eye from jumping rope, and it never,
Yo, bro, I thought it was professional, bro.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
this
I
is
like
a
he
professional
represent.
lay off Willie B. That's perfect.
okay.
Man, look at that.
Okay, that's
Perfectly
okay.
fine
That's the light
picture.
eye. That's the eye injury I had in 2015. So
Nah, bro, you still.
Strive
all
to be
good.
as happy as Willie B looks in that picture.
thank you.
Oh,
I appreciate JB. I ain't gonna try to go on you like that.
hey,
It's all
this
good.
today's
Thank
about the
you.
Pistons, top of the gable. Great show, guys. Shout out to Tabitha. Shout out to all of our OGs that are in the chat as well. It's your boy Brandon Dan, K Detroit Kool-Aid. This has been a great show, man. It's your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Smash that like button for the Tigers. Smash that like button for the Pistons. Smash that like button for the NFL draft. And honestly, JBSmooovv, man.
Smash the like
He
button for
deserves
John
some
Cena.
Smash some like buttons, man. Have a great day, you guys. Have a blessed one.